So if we're looking at things biblically, right, and we're looking back, we're trying to get to the root of what happened biblically between man and woman before sin, right? If we're looking at things in biblical terms, if we're looking at things biblically and trying to use that as grounds to understand what may be happening today with men and women and sin in general, if we go back to the beginning of time with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, as the Bible says, Eve was in the garden, Adam was in the garden, Eve was somewhere else away from Adam and was tempted by Satan, and Satan was in the form of a snake. God said to Adam and Eve, "You can have anything in the garden except for the apples on that tree, the tree of life," which really was the tree of death. But this was a test from God to see his creation's obedience to him and to see if they would basically do what they were supposed to do. Just as a parent will say, "Hey, don't touch the cookies in the cookie jar. I'll give you one tomorrow if you're a good boy or girl." If the child goes ahead and does it anyways, well, that now we've found out, that our child is not following our instruction, right? So that was kind of that situation a little bit. And you might think, well, why would God allow anything to tempt their children? Well, why would you leave cookies in the house or in a spot where your child could reach or climb onto something and grab one of the cookies just for you to punish them? Ask yourself the same question as a parent. So anyways, besides that point, Eve was deceived and tricked by Satan in the garden. She was away from Adam, or Adam would have protected her, and he would have stopped that from happening because the man is the protector of the woman. And if she leaves our side, we can't protect her. So she was deceived and she ate the apple, causing sin, which doomed all of us forever and caused death. She then went to Adam and said, "Hey, God was wrong. I ate the apple and I didn't die. I'm okay. Everything's fine. And now I know the truth." Because of Adam believed and trusted in his woman, he was also deceived by that. And he went against God's instruction. And he ate the apple too, because he trusted in his woman. And that was the failure of him. And that tends to kind of be the failure of men in general, honestly, in this day and age. It tends to hurt us and end up destroying us when we put our trust and faith in a woman versus God first. God has to be the foundation, and they both failed to do that, even since the beginning of time, which caused all of this destruction and sin in the world. So Adam should have consulted with God first and said, no, Eve, you messed up. We weren't supposed to do that. You're wrong. Who said this to you? How did you come to believe this? Oh, well, the snake in the garden told me. No. Okay. But he failed to do that, causing sin. So this is the biblical story, right? Now, I had a debate with somebody, and they said that it was Adam's fault that she was tempted, because where was Adam? How come Adam wasn't there to protect her? So really, it's Adam's fault, because the man is supposed to be the protector. Now, I agree that the man is supposed to be the protector, but the man cannot always be there all the time. If a woman decides to go on her own path, to go pick fruit away from me when I'm unaware, instead of bringing me with her, she could get snatched up, kidnapped, something bad can happen to her, and that's out of my control. That was her own mistake. Because women have a tendency they have a different view and perspective that men don't have the ability to have, and that's what the beauty of the woman is. They can see things in a more optimistic, beautiful way. Men look at things as danger, darkness, we're always like on guard, we're always alert, we're always waiting for something bad to happen. That's because we're warriors, we're protectors, and we're in a war, and there are enemies, and our loved ones are at risk. But we can't always be there to protect you, and you have to be able to have the strength to resist temptation. And also, you have to have wisdom enough to not put yourself in a situation that can cause yourself to be tempted or hurt or harmed outside of your man's protection capabilities. Now, the argument from this individual is that it's Adam's fault for not being there to protect her. Well, again, let me tell you a story about something that happened to me in the past with a girl that I was with. We went to Kamloops, BC, and she's never been there before, and I led her there, and she wanted to go because I was going to go, and I said, either you can come with me or you can stay here. She wanted to come, so we went out there. Now, this is near like the Highway of Tears and stuff like that. And, women get abducted and go missing and are killed. Google it and YouTube it. The Highway of Tears, BC. Okay. It's the most infamous place in the world for women and women to be abducted and killed and disappear and go missing. So I was like, hey, don't leave my side. You know what I mean? Like, don't run off on me, You know what she did? She ran off on me. She took off on me to go hang out with her friend, and she did not consult with me, and she didn't tell me, and she didn't want to because they wanted to go drink and party, and she knew that I would be against that, because it's just not a wise idea, especially if you're going to just take off on me and go do it yourself. There must be some alternative motive behind that. Maybe you guys want to hang out with some other guys and drink. So she went and did that. I didn't know where she went, why she left. I was freaking out, running around trying to find her, panicking. It was the worst feeling. It's like if you lost your infant. Like, I was panicking, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, where did she go? Is she okay? She went to a party. She got drunk. She drank with her friend, another female. That female brought her around some other guys that she was drinking with. Something went down. And then she left and then got picked up drunk by some guy in a car, an older guy. And unfortunately, she got raped. She was raped. She called me crying, told me she got raped, that she called the police. They did a rape kit test and everything like that. They never found the guy. But I said, why would you do this to us? Why would you take off on me and go and do something that you knew was not right, not consult with me, leave my side and my protection? If that would have never happened to you if I was beside you. I would have smashed that guy into a billion pieces. I would have picked him up and smashed him into a million pieces on the ground. There is no man that is going to come and rape my woman, ever. I will destroy you. I will take your life from you. And that's guaranteed. I don't care how big you are or how big you think you are. I know how to deal with guys like that, okay? So that's because I'm a protector and I'm a man, and that's what my function is. That's what I do, okay? Not going to happen. You ain't touching my child. You ain't touching my woman. I will kill you, and I will die in the process if I have to. If you know what I mean. If it comes down to it, I'll be willing to die over that. But she left my protection. She didn't consult with me. She put herself at risk where I couldn't protect her, and I wish that she didn't do that because I would have never allowed that to happen. And there was nothing I could do. I was powerless. Now, somebody could say, where were you? It's your fault. You should have been there to protect her. Well, I would have been, but she took off on me. And I had no control over that. That was her decision. So now I can kind of see what may have happened in the garden. She kind of just wandered off and went to go and pick fruit or do whatever she wanted to do and didn't really tell Adam. And Adam was probably like, oh, I wonder where she went. And then she was deceived and she was tricked, and it caused death and sin, and I resonate with that. I understand that story because it happened to me in real life all these years later, from a book that was written thousands of years ago, from the beginning of time, in the first documented human beings in the Garden of Eden, historically. that still makes sense to right now to me, and that's mind-boggling. But it's unfortunate that the man and the woman have such a conflict in between each other in these days, and we can't trust in each other, and it's caused us to fall in many ways, you know. And we were meant for each other, and the woman is more easily tempted by temptation, believe it or not. Scientific studies have been proven that the woman is more easily tempted, and the woman is more prone to lying than the man is. It's a scientific proven fact, and it's biblical too. Like, it says it in the Bible. The woman is more easily tempted, and that's why it says, wives, trust in your husbands, you know, and their guidance and their protection. Don't rebel from it, and for the man it says, submit to your wives. You know what I mean? Like, we were supposed to be able to do that with each other without being like, no, that's not fair. I'm not trusting you. I'm not submitting to you. Well, I'm not submitting to you. I'm not submitting to you. Fuck you. You're trying to control me. Okay, you're trying to control. Like, it's sin that's got us this far in life. You know what I mean? With each other, and now we're completely separated. And it's a tragedy, because we can't coexist without each other, believe it or not. Man is meant for woman, woman is meant for man. And the farther we go away from our roots and our natural way of life and the way that God intended it to be in our natural form, the further away we get from ourselves, and the closer we get to destruction and self-destruction and everything wrong. This is the reason why we have so much. Look outside, man. Like, look at the world we live in. This is what it's all come down to from the beginning of time. It started like that, and we've ripped ourselves away from our true nature so far from our roots that it's caused this rebellion against God and against each other, and not being able to trust in each other, and not putting ourselves in each other, and relying on each other, and like, for our strengths and weaknesses. Now the man has weaknesses that the woman has strengths in, and that's why God put us together. He said the woman is more easily tempted, so the man is their protector and their guidance. The woman has they have wisdom, and they have grace, and they have mercy and love, and they have things that the man lack, and that's why we need the woman. So it's like, you can't have up without down, left without right, light without darkness. And if you try to go outside of that, you're going outside of the laws of nature and the universe, and what in God's law and the way he intended it. So it's what caused this division in the first place. So why would we allow it to continue if we know that this is the source of the problem? This is just a thought. You might not believe in God. You might not believe in the Bible. I'm not forcing it on you. I'm just telling you, if we were to look at things biblically, based off of the biblical story and everything in between, and off of my personal experience, when I try to relate to that and understand it, it makes a lot of sense. And I can see where things went wrong, but this might even cause more division because of pride. Women will get mad at this. Men might get mad at this. Many people will disagree with me. Many people will agree with me. So it is what it is. But I'm just only trying to figure out the truth. And I look at things to try to understand future patterns, present patterns, based off of history, because we can look at history and kind of predict what might be happening in the future or in the present. It's true. It's something that we do as human beings, right? There's patterns, and there's identifiable markers that we can use to track and predict things, and kind of, make, so to speak, educated guesses on what might come next. It's not so much of a mystery anymore. We've kind of been able to master this, as humans, as mankind. But anyways, that's just my thought on that. Just going back, based off my own experience, and I have experienced many other things with females and in my life that I could, I can relate that to from that story. And with that argument in between the man and the woman, women will argue that it's Adam's fault and he wasn't there to protect her, and that's why she was able to be deceived. But now that I just went through that, and we just went through that process, based off of my own experience as a man, that's what I've experienced. And I understand that men have maybe betrayed the woman in the past and lost their trust, and also vice versa. It's been the same way, and we've both put ourselves in a situation where we can't and don't trust each other. Now, there's the argument like who messed up first, and that's a hard one to deal with. But hey, I just want to know the truth, and I just want to know the facts. I'm not trying to be like, oh, the woman messed up first. Now, I have been bitter in the past and have used that against women and said, yeah, you know what, the woman is more easily tempted, and the woman was the first one to sin and then trick man into sinning because he trusted you. We trusted his woman. Now, it's a failure of the man to trust the woman, and we know this biblically from the beginning of time because this is what happened. But it was because of Adam also didn't consult with God first. God has to be the foundation of everything, and you have to go by God's word. And this was an example of what can happen if you don't listen to God and his word, and you put your faith and trust in a woman before God. Yeah. Same thing with a woman. She should have put her, even if Adam was not there to protect her at the time because she wandered off and he couldn't, like the girl I was with, she should have put God first, and God told her not to do that, but she allowed herself to be deceived, and she went against God's word and what God's instructions for her, causing sin, causing death, biblically, if we're speaking in those terms. Was she the first one to sin? Yeah. Was she the one to trick Adam into sinning? Yeah. Did Adam mess up? Yeah. Did she mess up? Yeah. Who did it first? Well, you can determine that for yourself. That's not the argument. But when you're trying to figure out what went wrong, same thing with a criminal case, a court case, or anything other, you go to the root cause of something. When you get sick and you have a disease or something bad happens to you, you go to the cause, you go to the root, and you try to figure it out. And that's what helps you fix the problem. That's what we do, and that's what we have to do. We go to the root cause of the problem, and we try to figure it out. We unravel it. Same thing in a court case, a murder case, or anything like that, right? Start from the beginning, figure it out, look at it from a broad perspective, look at what happened, and then compare that, what happened, what the result was, the negative result, based off of what happened in the beginning, and try to determine what went wrong and who's guilty and who's not. But both are guilty, bottom line. Both did not consult with God first. So remember, consult with God first.